Hi everybody and welcome to the Smart Women Summit. Today we're going to be talking to the lovely Dr. Patrice Baptiste, and she's going to be telling you all about her journey. My name's Vanessa Kariba, your host of today, and it's my lifetime mission to inspire professional women to pivot their careers into a vibrant, profitable business. I'll let Patrice introduce herself. Hi Patrice, how are you today?
Hello, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good, very good, thank you. So welcome to the show, and thank you for the time. I know that you're busy at the moment, really busy at the moment. Just share your journey so far, and what made you convert your professional experience into a business? I know you told me, sorry, when we were talking before, that you're a portfolio GP, so I know you can explain it to us and let us know where you're at in your journey.
Yeah, okay. So how far should I go back, really? So I could start from when I wanted to be a doctor, which was when I was 4 years old. It was, I would say, a calling. I've always seen medicine as a vocation. So I didn't change my career choice since I was 4. I was always doctor, not lawyer, not politician, nothing. It was always
cool, just that.
It was always medicine, exactly. So whatever I did was get up to medicine. So I applied to UCL, kind of fast forward the journey. I got in, it was a 6-year degree. So I did, the medical degree is 5 years, and then I did a BSc, so I intercalated, so I took a year out. I did that in speech science and communication. And then I graduated in 2013 and started working as a doctor, basically.
Wow.
So I started working as an F1, like you do. You have to do 2 compulsory years, F1, then F2. And then by the end of F2, I felt like I was a little bit burnt out. I felt that medicine wasn't what I thought it may have been. And I questioned my decision to be a doctor.
Just on that pause there, medicine, you've gone through all your life saying, I'm going to be going to medicine. And then you get to a point where you say, it's not what I thought it would be. What was that all about? What?
I was trying to keep it concise. So, I mean, I think for me, the biggest thing was I felt the pressures. So the lack of staff, the lack of support I felt as a junior. Being left on my own sometimes.
Around you, would you say it's the environment around you that made you kind of?
Oh yeah, it was the environment. So I call it the system. So the NHS is a really great system, but sometimes for doctors, especially junior doctors, you might feel a little bit unsupported. You're thrown into the deep end, and as a medical student, as a doctor, you're used to it. But I think for me, I felt that I thought there'd be a bit more support. So it wasn't what I thought it would be, and the hours were quite grueling, and I felt that I wasn't getting enough time to spend with my family, and that made me feel a little bit low as well. So towards the end of that second year, I just thought, I'm not going to apply for another training program. I'm going to take some time out for myself. Okay. And I did that, and that was in the form of a year. So it's becoming more common now, actually, in the form of an FY3. So you've got F1, F2, and then you take a gap year, FY3. Some people take a second year as well, but I wanted to take just 1 year.
Okay.
So, yeah. So during that time, I basically found myself again. I did all the things that I had neglected. I got back into writing, I did more of that. I just relaxed, did exercise, etc., etc. And it was during that time I went back to my old school, comprehensive school, and I basically offered my services to help any students who wanted to get into medicine. And there were a few things that I found that I wasn't really happy with. So if you're going to do a career like medicine, which is a challenging career, which I found out, you do need to do your research. And I felt that a lot of the students I was speaking to weren't really up to speed. And I felt, well, I need to kind of do something here. And that coupled with the lack of diversity within the medical profession, by that I mean doctors or medical students who coming from a poorer socioeconomic background, they're not really well represented. Okay. You have more of a middle class background who monopolize the medical profession, and also people of a certain ethnicity. So I'm of West Indian or Caribbean descent, and there's very few of us in the medical profession. So that's just one ethnicity.
Yeah.
I wanted to try and help bump up and improve the numbers in the medical profession. So I saw some issues, and again, coupled with the fact that I wanted to get into business, I wasn't familiar with, finances, money. We're not taught about money. We're taught to be doctors, we're taught to be employees, essentially.
Yeah.
So I was interested about business. I was interested, about entrepreneurialism, and I thought it'd be a great way to put all of that together. So that's how I started my company. And then again, during that time, I said I was doing a lot of writing, and I just kept writing. I would speak to a lot of editors, and I would say, well, I'd really like to kind of make this more of a regular gig. How do I go about doing that? And they didn't really give me a straightforward answer. They just said, just keep writing. And I just kept writing, and that's what I did. And I'd get paid for some articles. I wouldn't get paid for some of them, but it would give me exposure. So if I'd write for maybe the BMJ, which is a very big medical organization, it stands for the British Medical Association Journal, and there's the BMA, which is British Medical Association. So I'd write for the BMJ, and I'd get a lot of exposure that way. So even if I wasn't getting paid, I would still get my writing out there. And then when I applied for my general practice training, my GP training, I wrote an article for GP Online, which is a platform or news website for general practitioners or healthcare professionals. So I wrote an article for them. They liked it. They put it onto the website, and I said, well, could I maybe write for you a bit more regularly? And they said, yes, that will be great. And I've been writing for them ever since. So that's how my writing got started. So I basically tried to create my portfolio career then, and I turned my expertise into a business that way. So for me, although I have a company, I have a business, for me, I'm the business in a sense. I do loads of
brand. You are the brand. You are.
I'm the brand. So my career is a portfolio. It's an amalgamation of all the things that I like to do, and I've just been fortunate that I've been able to get paid for quite a bit of it.
I just want to stop and reflect on something there for the professional woman who's thinking about, maybe getting into entrepreneurship. And I like the way you've used your expertise. You built Dream Tutors, isn't it?
Dream Smart Tutors. I know it's a bit of a tricky one.
Missing the word, sorry. And
that's
then
okay.
So used your expertise to go out and write and tell people about, just what you know. And called yourself, we talked about this, didn't we? The portfolio, the GP, portfolio GP portfolio.
Yeah, you said it right. That's great.
Yeah. And I just like the way you've put yourself in the front and kind of just use everything you know to sort of pour out onto people. During that time, did you have any challenges? And if so, how did you kind of break through on them? What's the biggest challenge? I mean, you've talked about some of them in your career, but what about in business, and how have you broke through?
I think the main thing for me, as I said earlier, was that I wasn't familiar with money, financial terms. That was something very new to me. And, you can't really start a business if you don't know about money and finances. So I think that was one of the biggest challenges for me, to know all the different terms. And the way, I suppose, how did I learn? Yeah, I was just going to answer that. I was going to come to that. So, you can't really get anywhere without knowing people. And so for me, one of the big things was networking. I looked at a lot of different sources. So one was, I can't remember what it was called, but it's like a business center. There's loads of them about. And I spoke to someone there, had like a little mentor, and we kind of spoke about business terms, business plans. I actually went on a few kind of courses. This was actually as a medical student, and I had some packs, and I just read up about it, did my research. And then in recent years, I've found a business mentor. So they helped me learn about business and, how I can make profit and services, and how I can listen to my target audience, etc., etc. So I think definitely networking, doing your research, and trying to get a mentor. It's not easy to get a mentor or the right mentor, and it does take a bit of time. I've gone through a few people. I want to say in that kind of way, but I have, there's a few people I've connected with, and that, we didn't gel, or it just didn't work out for some reason. So it does take a while to get a mentor and the right mentor, but I would definitely say you do need someone to guide you, because there's, they've gone through it. They've got the experience. They may have made mistakes so that you don't have to make those mistakes. So definitely having that mentor, having done my own research, and also trial and error. There's a lot of things I've done that, you know, hasn't necessarily worked out, but I've learned from that, rejigged things, and then it does work, or it may still not work, but then it's just about fine-tuning things. So definitely experimenting, taking risks, and not being afraid to see something fail. I mean, I hate failure. I'm not used to failing. I failed one exam in my whole career. Not proud of it, but you know, I'm human.
I like the way you say that. I'm not used to it. It's so honest and upfront that people need to hear that. You know, we're all people, aren't we?
Yeah.
So, well, I guess as we move on to the learning to make to learn finances and breaking through and how to make profit, when you realize, when you was going into this, how soon did you make profit in your business, and how consistent was it? Because you always had your base, didn't you, as working as a GP? But when you went over to the entrepreneurial side, when did you start making profit and realize this is consistent?
So I made a profit straight away. It was a very modest profit. So I didn't, I was never in a deficit. I never broke even. I always made a little bit of a profit, and it just grew and grew. Again, there were dips. So the work I do is very seasonal. So I have to know when I can maximize what I'm doing and how much money I can make in those, you know, particular seasons. So there are dips, and it is difficult to be consistent, especially now with what's going on. Schools are closed. I work with schools. They're closed, you know. It's very difficult. So of course, a lot of people have taken a bit of a hit, but in the beginning, again, it wasn't consistent, but I was making a profit, and I was again looking for ways in which I could make it more consistent and make a bigger profit. It's not always a profit, but of course, you know, you go into business. One of the reasons you go into business is to make some kind of, you know, make money in a sense. I mean, business takes many forms. It could be social enterprise, it could be even a charity is a business. So it doesn't have to be a for-profit, you know, company. But of course, money is at the epicenter of business. I guess so.
Profit piece is all about what you put back in to the business to engineer it a little bit more and take it to the next step. So no, it's not. And that leads me to my next question, because I'm like you. Obviously, I am a business coach, so my forte is making sure that people make a profit. But also, I believe character is a good representation of what you do, not necessarily the profit you make, but how you get to them steps. And you were talking about your mentor. If you was to use a colour to describe your business, you've got a lovely colour on your website. I'd love to know what you're going to say. But what colour would you describe your brand, your business, and why?
Okay, so I was going to say turquoise, because that for me, it illustrates a sense of calm, a sense of clarity. And going back to when I started my business or businesses or in careers, I was lacking that. And then by starting everything, it allowed me to then, you know, have that clarity and decide exactly what I wanted to do. So I was going to say turquoise, but the color behind me, I don't know if you can see, is called soothing blue.
It's lovely.
So I may choose soothing blue instead.
Soothed. It's really nice and calming. The color I can see.
Yeah, I think for me, you need to be calm. You need to be clear. You need to have clarity, and I think those are probably the words I would use to describe the business or how I feel about business.
Awesome. Now, given we talked about where we are at the moment with this COVID-19 and the changes ahead of the fact that, you know, I was many people would know that I worked in education too, and I've pivoted. And what I do as a business coach, the changes to the economy are going to be different. And so we're going to have women out there that are going to want to start a business, but really don't know what the validity of it is. What advice would you give to them from where you are at and what you're looking at to change?
So I think the main thing I would say is that you have to change with the times and be adaptable. We know that it's survival of the fittest. That goes, you know, from nature to our lives as, you know, as we know it. So for me and in my business, again, before this happened, I was looking at online forms, you know, of courses. So I do a lot of courses, and they have to be face to face. I prefer them face to face because one of the main aims of my, for Dream Smart Tutors was to connect young people with doctors. So it doesn't really make sense, or you don't get that same feel if you're online. But I do recognize the fact that you do need to move with the times. Online does also have its positives, and it should be something that you can use in addition to what you're offering. So online, in the form of maybe online modules or courses, webinars, live streams. And I think if you're going to start something, technology needs to be made the most of. I mean, I have a smartphone. I have 2 smartphones. I have an iPhone. I also have a Samsung Android. So I think, oh God, I lost my train of thought here.
We're just talking about what the advice would give people. No, you're right.
Well, so how was I going to use that? I knew this was going to happen to me.
Technology and how you use it to do online, go online, and you have a variety.
That's what I was going to say. Thank you for bringing me back.
All right, it's okay.
So you have to know how to use it. So I have a smartphone and I have an Android, and I don't think I'm making the most of those 2 phones. So again, I was looking at something on YouTube about the video editing software called iMovie, and I've been using iMovie for a while, and I just know I haven't been using it to the best of what it should be used for, basically, and making the most of it. And I was looking at this tutorial and I was thinking, there's all these things that I didn't know I could do with it. And my videos are going to be so much better now because I can actually use all these different, different tools.
Yeah.
So I think, you have to make sure that you're utilizing things to the best that you can. And that comes with, research and experience, etc. But I would definitely say technology is, I'm young, but I'm still not of that generation where I wasn't born into Facebook and social media and computers. I wasn't born into the whole tablets and all of that stuff. So for me, it's been a little bit tricky. I think it's maybe been a bit easier than maybe the generations before me, or I don't know if that's a bad example, but for some people, I know definitely for the elderly people, it can be a struggle. So for me, it's been a struggle, but maybe not as bad as maybe, or difficult it has been for them.
I guess
so.
I get you. I heard somebody saying they're bilingual. They're an older person, but they've learned to tap into today's technology, and that's what we have to do, don't we? We just have to get whatever's efficient to get our businesses out there and online. As you say, if when women are starting businesses online, you can scale and. Now, I know we're coming to the end of the interview and wrapping up. I know you have a free gift for our audiences, and we'd love to share that. Do you want to tell us? So
I'm offering a free 1-hour session with myself to discuss someone's career. Perhaps they want to take their career to another level. Perhaps they want to change careers. Perhaps they want to have a portfolio career. So I'm offering my experience, my expertise, and what's worked for me and maybe what hasn't worked for me, and anything that person wants to go through in that hour, and we can take it from there, really.
That's awesome. What we'll do is we'll put the URL link below this interview so they can tap into that and use that. And do, guys, use it. It's there for you. Please do that. So just coming to the end of the interview, and thank you very much, Patrice, for joining us today.
That's okay. Thanks for having me.
Make sure, guys, as I said, take the opportunity to jump on the link and get the freebie. And maybe in a year's time, we might catch up with you again and see where you've journeyed along. But for now, thank you for being our guest. And guys, looking forward to the next interview we do with another expert sharing their experiences around business. Bye now. Bye, Patrice.
Bye.
Bye.